The night that made xukai cry, Tansongyun's triumph at the 2025 Weibo Awards. What if I told you that behind the glittering lights of Beijing's grandest award night, behind the polished speeches and designer gowns, there was a single moment so raw, so genuine, that it brought one of China's most stoic leading men to tears? What if I told you that the man who stood watching from the crowd, eyes shining, jaw clenched, wasn't just proud, but deeply moved, because he knew exactly what it took for her to stand there? This is the story of Xukai's pride, Tansongyun's victory, and the moment that made millions believe in love again. Hold on tight, K-drama family. The world of your favorite celebrities is unfolding before your eyes, and every moment is more breathtaking than the last. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. The red carpet that set the night ablaze. It was a cold evening in Beijing. Cameras flashed like lightning as the stars of Chinese television walked the red carpet for the 2025 Weibo TV Influential Awards. But then, the atmosphere changed. A hush of admiration swept through the crowd. From the limousine stepped Tansongyun, wearing a breathtaking gold silk gown designed by Weibo, a symbol of grace, confidence, and quiet strength. The reporters shouted her name from every angle, but her eyes stayed calm, her smile soft. She waved modestly, took a breath, and whispered to the cameras, "I'm grateful to just be here tonight." But what the public didn't see was that standing at the far end of the red carpet, near the media section, was Xukai, dressed in black velvet, trying to stay unnoticed. He wasn't part of the evening's main lineup. He wasn't nominated that night. But those close to him knew, he came for one reason only, to support her. The announcement that broke the internet. The event went on, performance after performance, speech after speech. But the tension built when it reached the final hour, the Most Popular Actress Award, one of the most anticipated honors of the night. The host opened the envelope slowly, deliberately. Then, with a smile, announced the name that lit up every screen in China. The 2025 Weibo Most Popular Actress goes to Tansongyun. The room erupted in applause. Fans screamed her name. The camera zoomed in on her, eyes wide, trembling hands covering her mouth. She stood, tears already forming, and made her way to the stage, trying to compose herself. From the audience, Xukai rose quietly to his feet, clapping with slow, deliberate pride. And though he tried to keep his expression neutral, those sitting nearby saw it, the glint of moisture in his eyes. Her speech, and his silent reaction. Tansongyun stood on that stage, microphone shaking slightly in her hands. Her voice cracked as she said, "When I first started acting, I never thought I'd come this far. I've faced moments when I doubted myself, when I wanted to stop. But every time I looked at the people who believed in me, my team, my fans, I found strength again." She paused, taking a deep breath. And then, she added softly, almost as if speaking to someone specific, "To the person who always reminds me to keep my heart pure, thank you." The camera cut briefly to the audience, and in that fleeting second, viewers caught a glimpse of Xukai, his eyes glistening, his lips trembling in the faintest smile. He looked down for a moment, then clapped again, this time slower, longer, as if to say, "You did it." That 5-second clip spread like wildfire across social media, sparking thousands of comments overnight. Xukai's eyes said everything. He's so proud of her. That's love, quiet, unspoken, but real. Behind the scenes, the moment no one saw after the show ended, the stars made their way backstage. Photographers and staff crowded around Tansongyun for pictures, flowers, and congratulations. But somewhere behind the curtains, in the narrow corridor that led to the exit, one quiet moment unfolded, away from the cameras. Tansongyun, still holding her trophy, spotted Xukai waiting near the back door. She froze for a second. He stepped closer. No words at first, just silence. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, "You made everyone proud tonight. Especially me." She laughed through her tears, shaking her head, "You're going to make me cry all over again." He reached out, brushing away a tear from her cheek. "Then cry. You've earned it." Someone from her team called out for a photo. She smiled, waved, and turned back toward the lights. But as she walked away, Xukai looked down at his hand, the same one that had just wiped her tear, and quietly smiled. The world reacts, a nation falls in love again by dawn. Every social platform across China, Korea, and even Southeast Asia was flooded with clips, edits, and emotional messages. The top trending topic on Weibo read, #XukaiProudTears #tansongyun Weibo Queen fans wrote, "You can fake chemistry on screen. But you can't fake pride like that." He looked at her like she was the reason he started believing again. Even celebrities joined in, with one director commenting, "You can tell when admiration turns into something deeper." Tonight, we all saw it. The interview that sealed the moment 2 days later, in a post-award interview, a journalist asked Tansongyun the question on everyone's mind, "You mentioned someone who keeps your heart pure. Who is that person?" She smiled mysteriously, tucking her hair behind her ear. "Someone who understands me. Someone who's been through the same storms." The interviewer pressed, "Xukai?" She laughed, eyes sparkling. "Let's just say, some connections don't need words." Xukai's own response, and then, just when the buzz began to fade, Xukai broke his silence, not through an interview, not through a statement, but through a single Weibo post. It was a black and white photo, Tansongyun on stage, holding her trophy, the spotlight shining like a halo. His caption was short. Just 3 words, "She deserves everything." It became one of the most reposted messages of the year. The legacy of that night in an industry filled with fleeting fame and rehearsed emotions, what happened that night reminded millions of something pure, that pride, respect, and silent support can be more powerful than any confession. Xukai didn't need to say he loved her. Tansongyun didn't need to call his name. Their connection, built through years of shared growth, hard work, and trust, spoke for itself. And as fans replayed that night again and again, one truth became clear: when Tansongyun stood holding her award, it wasn't just her victory. It was their victory. 2 hearts. 2 journeys. One unforgettable moment that defined the 2025 Weibo Awards forever. The vanishing act, where did they go after the show? After the ceremony ended, the stars slowly filtered out of the Beijing Grand Theater, their teams escorting them into sleek black cars bound for after-parties and interviews. But while other celebrities headed toward the flashing lights of hotel rooftops and red carpets, Tansongyun's car turned the other way, toward the quieter side of the city. And just minutes later, another car, Xukai's, followed the same route. At first, fans thought it was coincidence. But later, a single photo would prove otherwise. At 12:47 a.m., a passerby captured an image outside a softly lit restaurant near Hohai Lake, a place famous for its traditional courtyard dining and privacy. 2 familiar silhouettes sat by the window, facing each other, half hidden behind the glow of hanging lanterns. Xukai. Tansongyun. No entourage. No stylists. No paparazzi in sight. Just them. Inside the restaurant, the conversation that changed everything, according to a staff member who later spoke to a Beijing entertainment outlet. The 2 stars arrived quietly, dressed simply, he in a black coat and cap, she in a cream sweater. They ordered only a few dishes, lotus soup, steamed dumplings, and jasmine tea. At first, the atmosphere was light, small laughter, gentle smiles. But as the night deepened, the staff noticed something shift. Their voices softened. The laughter faded into silence. Tansongyun set down her chopsticks, eyes glistening under the dim lanterns. "I didn't think it would feel like that," she said softly. "Standing up there, it felt like everything I went through finally made sense." Xukai smiled, that rare, tender smile that fans hardly ever see on camera. "It wasn't luck," he said. "You earned every moment of it. I saw how hard you worked when no one else was watching." She looked down, blinking back tears. "Sometimes I think people only see the smile, not the struggle." He leaned forward, voice barely above a whisper. "I see both." The air grew still. Outside, the faint sound of rain began tapping against the windows. For a long moment, they said nothing. But that silence, that shared space between them, felt like the realest conversation they'd ever had. The tears that broke the silence as they prepared to leave, the rain turned heavier. The staff brought an umbrella to the door, but Xukai took it himself. He opened it and waited for her, standing in the doorway as the drizzle painted the cobblestone path silver. Tansongyun stepped beside him, clutching her award still wrapped in its silk case. And then, witnesses say, she stopped, turned toward him, and quietly said, "Thank you for never leaving when it got hard." Xukai looked at her for a long moment, eyes bright, lips trembling slightly, and replied, "You never gave me a reason to." She laughed through the tears threatening to fall again. "You're going to make me cry twice in one night." And that's when he said the line that melted every heart who later heard it from those close to them, then let it out. Real strength isn't about not crying. It's about who you cry in front of. Her tears finally fell. And for the first time, Xukai didn't hide his own.